We know the name, we know the history, but in a year of uncertainty and change, what is next for our two-time Olympic champion? Another medal on the cards? I'd hazard a guess that that's a yes. Mahe Drysdale, nice to see you. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Busy man, and I don't mean busy training, but you've got not one, not two, but 3 babies now. I've been doing a little bit of homework. You've been busy.
Yes, no, it is. It's the family's expanding, and certainly takes away, I guess, some of the free time when you sort of got to get home and help out. But it's very, very rewarding, and really enjoyed having them along for the ride.
Now, is it girls in the house? I've tried to do a hunt. Bronte, Boston. Did you stay with the B theme?
No, we went to Frankie. So yeah, it's our little girl is now 1 year old, and yeah, it's been a very interesting year as we've sort of tried to get to grips with having 3, and yeah, it's certainly more work than sort of 1 plus 1, and we found 2 was a massive leap from 1. So, but as I say, you know, it's been quite I guess in this uncertainty, it's been really nice to have them all around and you know, have that time at home, which usually I wouldn't get so much time with them.
You've almost got a 4 there, so you're not far off that. I won't hold it against you that you didn't go for the B. I thought Bernadine might be all right. Look, 3 Olympic medals in the bag, 5 world titles. You're 41, you'll be 42 in Tokyo. Why?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I guess again, you know, it was just cemented to me this year with what's happened. It's because I love it. You know, I'm very much pushing my body to its limits. You know, right now I've got a bit of a back injury, and you know that's just part of it. But you know, I still love it. I can still do it, and as long as that happens, you know, I'll be in the boat. But it's definitely in July next year. That's it. I should have been about 3 months retired right now, but you know, it's got another 9 months to go, and then yeah, then we'll hang up the oars.
So apart from 3 kids getting out of bed in the morning, it's the love of it, the passion, and there must be the belief that there's more.
Yeah, there is, and you know, that's I guess the almost the motivation thing is you know, trying to do what people have never done before. You know, I think the oldest Olympic medalist was 42 in the sport of rowing, and obviously, you know, I was going to be 41, but now it gives me opportunity to go and take that mantle at 42 and a half. So, you know, those are the little challenges, I guess, that you know, help sort of push you along. You know, there's still I still believe I can do it, and you know, that's why I'm still here. If I don't have that belief, then it's time to hang up the oars.
Well, you're still here, and there was question that we didn't know what was going to happen with the Olympics. It was postponed, COVID hit, and threw everyone a big curveball. You've got an amazing blog, and it's very personal. And at one stage you were writing how you were, as you mentioned, close to retirement, 120 days out from retirement, and you felt like you were so close to the summit. You were this close, and all of a sudden you went sliding all the way back down to base camp. Can you talk us through the process of that, and how you digested all that, and what impact it had on you?
Yeah, it was a really weird sort of a process, I guess, because I went into, you know, COVID with almost you know, there was almost an advantage we had in New Zealand, or that's what I felt. I'd just been to Europe, came back and was in really, you know, really good form. I was really pleased with where I was going, and I thought, you know, this curveball that's been thrown at us, this is just playing into my hands, because you know, everyone's got to deal with this. Mentally, you know, I back myself as being, you know, very, very strong. I've obviously had the experience. You know, I can deal with this. You know, in New Zealand we're sort of immune from it. We don't have COVID like they have in Europe. You know, this is gonna give us a massive advantage. And then about 2 days later, you know, they said, oh, the Olympics is postponed. And then, you know, the lockdown happened, and you know, suddenly we were at home, we couldn't train, and I was just like, I just completely, I've never been like this in my life, just completely lost all my motivation, and I was just like, I don't know if I can do it again. You know, I don't want to do it. I was out training one day, I turned around and I rode home. I just didn't have the heart to do it, and you know, I thought, okay, well, you know, this is it. You know, this is the moment that I just don't have that passion, I don't have that drive, and that's the time that you retire. And I kind of thought, okay, well, I guess I got to assess things. You get a bit of time in lockdown. So, just really, I guess I almost switched off from rowing for a few weeks and just really spent time with the family, and I actually loved it. Just having that time to sit down, to enjoy the family, just not worry about anything else. There wasn't sort of the thought of anything else, and I just said to myself, look, you can't make a decision right now because it's not the time. We don't even know if the Olympics is going to happen, when it's going to happen, all that sort of stuff. So as the weeks went on, things became a bit clearer. It was set that there was a date a year in advance. We still didn't know whether it was going to happen or not, but I guess that's where I started thinking about it and the reason that I was doing it. And I was like, the reason that I'm doing it is not to go to Tokyo. It's because I love it. And again, that's when I started thinking, more closely, I guess, around that. What is it that I want to achieve? Why do I want to do this? And so that sort of became quite strong again. And as soon as I got back rowing, it just reminded me of why I loved it, what there was still to achieve. And, so it was actually, again, I made a complete flip from sort of, I'm going to retire, I can't do this, to actually, no, I do love this and I want to keep going. And, then have to reset all your plans and your goals and all that sort of stuff. But, it actually came out of that with a even more positive, because I thought, one, there's going to be still a heap of uncertainty over the next year, and I can deal with this. It was definitely the right decision to postpone the Olympics. There was just no other decision they could have made, and probably the fact they held out for so long was almost the wrong thing. They probably should have just made a decision early. And then I thought, actually, now I've got 16 months, and that can be quite an advantage for me, because I've just come out of the 8. I want to go back into the single, and it's going to take me some time to build up. So it sort of went from being a real positive to being a real negative to back to being a real positive. And I guess that's where I'm at the moment. Still very motivated, want to do it, and know it's almost having that end goal in sight makes me more motivated, because I know that I can put absolutely everything into it. I don't have to save anything for post sort of August 1 next year.
Yeah. Mahe, you say you went for a row and you turned around and you rowed back. Was that because the fear of COVID and the unknown, or the doubt that you didn't think you had another year in you, that you couldn't make the next Olympics? Yeah,
I think it just happened to be that it was around that time with just so much uncertainty, and I was just like, well, what am I doing this for? Like, why? And I was actually out on the bike, because we couldn't row at that time, and I was just like, I just don't want to do this.
Sounds like you had a serious case of the wobbles.
Yeah, it was. It was, it was shocked to me, because I've never been in that position. Like, yes, some days you're like, oh, it's raining outside, I don't want to get out to training, but I've always pushed myself, got out there and done it. This time I was just like, no, I just don't have it in me. I don't have the motivation to push myself, and that's when I thought, okay, this is the end.
Which is an unusual position for you to be in. So when you wrote the blog and you were going through that time reconnecting with family and having that nice reset, was the blog cathartic? Was it nice to actually stop and take a breath?
Oh, definitely. And that's part of the reason I wrote it. It was just really, I guess, a download of everything that I was feeling. And initially, I sent it to Juliet and I said, what do you think? And she kind of said, I think it's the best blog you've ever written, but she said, I'm not sure that you want to share this with everyone. And so I'd written it and I sort of held it back for a few days, and I kind of thought about it, and I thought in the end I thought this has done a lot for me to write this, and I thought, well, this is unprecedented times. This is just so strange what we're going through, and I thought, if I'm going through this and I back myself to be one of the strongest mental athletes in the world, like, surely other people are doing this as well. And I'd had a few had a few chats to people, and so I put that out, and it was amazing, the amount of response I got from people just saying, look, I know exactly what you're talking about. It is hard, and yeah, that was really nice, I guess, to share that with other people as well. That, you know, I think there was a lot of people, you know, putting out things like, you know, well, this will only make us stronger, and you know, I'm sure there were some athletes like that, but I think ultimately most people, you know, were struggling, and that was a bit of a front. So, you know, I think it was nice just to be completely honest.
So Juliet, your wife, of course, a successful rower in her own right. What was her messaging to you? What was she telling you?
You know, she was just like, you know, whatever you decide, we'll support you. And yeah, we certainly spoke about, you know, a number of things, and I was probably flip-flopping all over the place.
The ultimate jandal with the flip-flop.
Yeah. So yeah, it was interesting times, but no, she's very, very supportive, and you know, it's great to have someone that understands it as well.
So let's talk Olympics. There's a very real possibility, after what we've discussed about the curveball that is COVID, that you may get to the Games without having competed against anyone internationally. No international regattas, and really not having any idea of how good or indifferent anyone else is in the world. What a bizarre situation.
Yeah, it is, and you know, that's just the reality of this whole, you know, this whole situation. It's very, very weird. And
is that unnerving, or is that a bonus? Thinking, you know, I've got my blinkers on, I don't know what anyone else is doing, I'm just going to do my thing, or is it a bit of a, ooh, he could be really good and this could really be bad for me?
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess, you know, like in Europe, they've just had the European champs, so there will be racing next year, but we're probably not going to be involved. I think the strength we have as a team is, you know, we have, you know, multiple world champions within our ranks, and we have, you know, a very, very strong squad. So we'll know how fast we're going, and that's, you know, that's really the key thing, because that's all you can control. So whatever the others are doing, you know, that's sort of beyond our control. But we'll know going into Tokyo where we stand. It's just, if someone else is doing something special, well, we won't know that. But you know, again, I think that's an advantage from my perspective. I've got that experience that you know, I'm almost looking forward to it. You know, like I think it would affect other people more than it would affect me. So
your fifth Olympic Games, how do you think others perceive you?
Well, that's the advantage, I guess. No one will know. I haven't raced. You know, I've had one race internationally in the single in the last 4 years, so no one will know where I stand. And you know, obviously I will, because I'll have some really good guides here at home. So yeah, there's definitely some advantages, and hopefully, you know, I've still got to go and perform to make that count. But you know, you have one good race at the Olympics, and you know, you certainly put others on notice.
So let's talk about times. Let's talk about form. Last year you were in the 8. You're gravitating back to the single. We know that's your first love. Since 2016. Top placing is 4th. You were 3rd at the Nationals. How do those numbers sit with you?
Yeah, it's you know, it's I guess it's putting it in perspective and where you're at. And yeah, I'm not pleased with some of those numbers and results. But you know, I can see the progression, and you know, that's I know how to get ready for the big event, and that's really the key. So. Yeah, I think last year the selectors backed me, and you know, I very much spelt out my plan of how it was going to go. And as I said, when I got back from Europe in March, I was very well on track for, you know, where I was going. So you know, that gives a lot of confidence in myself. But you know, I certainly hope to improve a lot from some of the results that I've had.
So it brings us to the battle of Robbie Manson. You know it's coming. Has that made you a better rower? I mean, there's been constant competition for that seat. There's been a real rivalry. Has it been healthy? Has it made you a better rower?
Yeah, I think competition always is healthy, and again, like it's that yardstick. So I know exactly where I stand. You know, compared to the best guys in the world. So although I haven't raced a lot of those guys, you know, directly, I can very much compare, you know, what Robbie has done compared to them, and you know, if you look at his results, you know, through a lot of his races, you know, he's been pretty dominant in this cycle. So you know, I know very well where I stand against him, and you know, therefore, you can sort of deduce of where you're probably going to stand against the rest of the world. And that's been great for me to be able to figure out what I need to do and where I need to improve.
And that rivalry probably is similar to you and Rob Waddell. It's almost cyclical, isn't it? That's always nice to have someone to chase and someone to actually keep you honest and keep you working hard.
Yeah, and that's always been the key, I guess, and the reason that we are so strong as a team is we've always got that competition internally. And throughout my career, I've had the women's double, and we've battled it out. Different women's doubles, throughout that career, but that competition has always, put us both in pretty good stead. And we've currently got the world champions in the women's double, so it's a really good yardstick as well to keep looking at on a daily basis. Train with them a lot, and that's within the whole New Zealand team. That's what we do. We match up against quality crews, and as I say, we've got a lot of world champions at the moment that we can compare ourselves to. So you're never in doubt as to where you stand.
We do have the heritage, absolutely. If we can crystal ball gaze, if for example you didn't have that single seat, where would you be?
Yeah, that's tough. It would be, I guess wherever. And I've had some experience in the last few years where I didn't get that single seat and been in the quad and the 8, and both of those I immensely enjoyed. I guess the key to making the decision to go back into the single was about the control. In those bigger boats, it's you only make up a quarter or an eighth of a crew, and you don't have that control as much, and that confused me, I guess, especially in the 8 was I can't put our finger on why we're at 99% in that final, I don't like not knowing, I guess. So yeah, that was the main thing. But I'd very much look at going back into one of those boats if I missed out on the single.
I guess in the single you're only accountable to yourself.
You are, and that's the beauty of it. You live and die by the sword, I guess. If you don't perform and the results aren't there, you can only look at yourself, and you have absolutely 100% control over that result. So if I go to Tokyo and I finish 6th or 8th or whatever, and I'm in the single, then that's me. I wasn't able to do what I said I could do, and that's a pretty easy conversation to have with yourself.
Yeah. So what does success look like for you, Mahe? What is a successful campaign for you in Tokyo?
A successful campaign for me is to go out and perform at my absolute utmost in that final, and have a race that I'm proud of. As we've seen in the last couple of years, the single was tight at the moment. So that could mean a gold medal, it could mean 6th place, or it could mean 8th place. That's how tight the field is. But as long as you can look at yourself in the mirror and say I gave it my all, you'll be happy. And I guess in Rio, that was we had about 90 seconds before the result was announced, and in that 90 seconds, that's effectively what I came to the conclusion. I thought about the race, I thought about the last 4 years, and I was like, no matter what the result is here, I don't know if I'm 1st or 2nd, I'm proud of how I've performed today, and there was nothing more I could do. So obviously if I had to take a silver medal, I would have taken it, but that was ultimately a success for me, no matter what the result. And obviously having a gold medal was the icing on the cake.
Leaving it all out there, and we've seen you leave it all out there before. 2008, those amazing images of you with tubes up your nose, you were purging breakfast into the water, and you still came up with a bronze medal. That's being tough, that's mental toughness. Are you mind fit?
Yeah, I am, and that for example, again, that one's really hard for me because I was proud of the way I raced that day. I gave it everything I could, and probably more. I've never been in that position ever again. Like, I've never raced that hard, to my limits like that. But when I digested that result, it became clear that I wasn't absolutely the best I could be through that cycle. And I'd been doing enough to win, but I could have been better in Beijing, and that's what I really struggled to live with, I guess, over the next few years. So I was very, very proud of that medal at the time, but when I digested it, I was really annoyed with myself because I realised there was more I could have done, and in saying that, that was enough probably to reset, and that's probably what got me the success that I did. If you look at 212, I had a serious back injury which kept me out of the boat for a year. I had 2 bike crashes leading up to that. I had 1 bike crash that was 6 weeks out from the Olympics. I couldn't row for 3 weeks. Yet I showed up in London and I won. I also won the year before. Overcoming all that, and why I say that was Beijing, because that cycle I did absolutely everything. I was the best I could be every single day, and that was a real change in mentality, because I was able to overcome anything that was thrown at me, whereas Beijing I wasn't strong enough to do that. So I got a bronze medal being sick, but had I prepared like I did for London, I would have won a gold medal and been sick. And that's still hard to live with. And I probably the most I thought about that was that week of London. I was just thinking to myself, this is my second opportunity. I've got to make the most of it. And again, I was sick going into London, but that was nerves because I knew how much it meant to me, and making the most of that opportunity.
And I guess that's what's going to confront you in the next games as well. I mean, that's all experience you add to the pot, right? And COVID must be something that you will add to that pot as far as the mental toughness. You talk about the flip-flopping and the challenges you had, the wobbles. Surely that's only going to add to that experience for you, and that, as we say, the mind fitness.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is just about going forward with like we don't know that the Olympics is going to happen next year. There's I'm pretty certain it is, because they're going to do everything they can to make it happen, but it might not. And I guess for me, I'm just like, okay, well, it happens or it doesn't, and it doesn't change the way I prepare, because I'm assuming it's going to happen and I'm doing everything I can. But if you even have that shadow of doubt in your mind as an athlete that, oh, maybe it won't happen, you're not going to go out and push yourself every day. So I guess that's where I'm probably telling too many secrets here. I'm hoping some of my competitors, they're going to have that flip-flop. Well, should I push myself? Well, is it worth it? It might not even happen. You have those doubts in your mind, and that can be, absolutely devastating. I think what we will see next year, you'll see results you don't expect. There'll be athletes that, potentially won at the world champs that are going to be out the back door. You're going to have athletes that you've never heard of before, up the front of the field. And the reason for that is, it's how they've dealt with the situation, dealt with them. And, there's a lot of restrictions around the world that we have no control over. That lockdown, we had no control over it. We couldn't row for, 5 weeks. And it's how you deal with that. I didn't deal with it very well at the time. I know that, if that happened again, I'd deal with it very differently. But it was 16 months out. So that's not going to affect me hugely in the scheme of things. If that happened to me 3 weeks out, that could have lost me the gold medal, the way I dealt with that. So, those sort of things are all, we've just got Europe going into lockdown again now. So, that's going to affect those athletes, on the way they can train. So, there's a lot at play in the next.
There? But you sound very measured. You sound very at peace with it, yet very focused. And you know that you have the belief and the passion and the love, clearly. Have you thought about disappointment? Have you thought about what potential failure could look like for you and how you would handle that? Or is that something that is just in another realm?
No, I don't think about that at all. I guess if that happens, I'll deal with it. But, what I can control is being the best I can be and showing up and performing at my best at the Olympics. And again, if that's not good enough, that's not good enough. I'll accept that. But I'm still pretty confident that it can be good enough, and that's where I'm putting my energy at the moment.
Brilliant. Well, just to practice a fast finish, let's think that we're in the final 50, we're upping the stroke rate, and we're going to do a quick fire with Mahe Drysdale, all right? We're going to have 7 questions, and it's just a quick fire. No wrong answers. All right, number 1. The Olympic rings tattoo, yay or nay?
Nay.
Nay. What is one thing that would surprise us about you?
Not very quick.
Without giving away too many trade secrets?
I'm a master procrastinator.
Really? Oh, not on game day, we hope. In a 100-metre race, who would win, you or Rob Waddell? This is on foot.
Probably Rob.
What about you and Juliet?
Me.
Oh, she's not going to be happy with
Not
that.
swimming though. She'll
You'll
beat me in the pool.
Oh, you'll be in the dog box when you get home. If you could win gold in any other Olympic event, which event would it be?
Probably cross-country skiing because I just love it.
Oh, it's lovely. Any code? What's your favourite sports team? Who do you follow?
I follow. I absolutely love sport. If I had to choose one, probably the Chiefs.
Oh, Chiefs Mana, love it. And finally, you can get a boarding pass to anywhere in the world. It's not for work, it's for play. Where's your boarding pass to?
Seychelles.
Ooh, warmth, sun, sea, I love it. Mahe Drysdale, it has been a pleasure. We're proud of you and all the very best for your campaign moving forward.
Thanks a lot.